An awe-inspiring sight. That is how many travelers to the Valley of Desolation describe this geological marvel. This massive 120-meter dolerite rock formation took approximately 100 million years to shape. Looking out over the rock face, one can't help but feel the power and wonder of nature. In 1935, the Valley of Desolation was recognized as a scenic national monument, attracting hikers and photographers for both its scenic beauty and rugged terrain. It's often referred to as the Cathedral of the Valley because of its majestic presence. Why it's called the Valley of Desolation is anyone's guess, but it is an ironic name, as this area is somewhat of an oasis amid the arid Karoo landscape. The valley forms a large part of the newly formed Camdebu National Park. In 2005, it was declared as such, making it the 22nd national park in the country. The establishment of the park was made possible by the World Wildlife Fund, which donated 14,500 hectares of land. In total, the park is just under 20,000 hectares, most of which is high above sea level on the foothills of the Nieu Bethesda range. The Nkweba Dam is also part of this park. When full, it takes up about 1,000 hectares, making it a small but picturesque area of Camdebu. Being a national park and a protected area, there are over 220 bird species, 336 plant species, and 43 species of mammals that one can see here. For the keen hikers, there are many exciting and challenging trails available, from a short 1.5 kilometer to an overnight hike. Like most SANParks managed areas, there are accommodation options available at Camdebu National Park. There's the popular Lakeview tented camp, which offers the comforts of a hotel room housed in a bush tent. Then there's the Nkweba campsite for those who want more of an authentic bush camping experience. Being in close proximity to the South African College of Tourism in Graaff Reinet, the park creates job opportunities for some of the graduates. Samantha Joseph, who completed a tourism management course in 2011, is now employed here.
I'm responsible for keeping the campsite and the tented camp neat and clean, to make sure that the guest is always comfortable, and I would say the hugest responsibility is to give the guest value for their money.
It's not just natural history that one can experience at this park. In November 1943, this monument was erected to honor Andries Pretorius. The namesake of the nation's capital, Pretorius was born in Graaff Reinet and went on to become one of the greatest voortrekker leaders. A key player in the Great Trek and the Anglo-Boer War, he's known also as being instrumental in the defeat of Zulu King Dingaan. If you're traveling around the idyllic Eastern Cape, a visit to one of the country's newest national parks, where you can see some of the oldest formations, is a must.
That really is another amazing natural wonder on the South African landscape. Now, traveling towards Graaff Reinet, you'll pass by the town of Nieu Bethesda. You will be forgiven for thinking that you've traveled back in time when you do.
Like most small towns in the Karoo, Nieu Bethesda was built around a Dutch Reformed church way back in 1875. Located on the foothills of the Sneeuwberge mountain range, this town is approximately 50 kilometers from Graaff Reinet. In Nieu Bethesda, time has stood still. In the past 130 years since the town was founded, there has been virtually no development. The town has no chain stores, no ATMs, and no petrol stations. It might be a nightmare to some, but that's really the charm of this place.
Well, we have a dilemma. We don't want it to grow. We don't want Nieu Bethesda to become commercial and to have a McDonald's and a shop. But at the same time, we live off tourism, so we're extremely grateful for anybody who missions here because it's far. It's far off the beaten track, it's not on the way to anywhere. So generally, we love the people who visit us.
Most people come to Nieu Bethesda to see the Owl House. It's one of the key attractions, not only for the town, but the entire Eastern Cape as well.
We get about 15,000 tourists to the Owl House every year. Some people come again and again, and then they also fall in love with the town, and they come again just to spend some time in town also. So the Owl House keeps Nieu Bethesda alive.
The Owl House is the living work of eccentric artist Helen Martins. Born in Nieu Bethesda, she later moved to the then Transvaal in the late 1800s, where she married and later divorced. As an Afrikaner woman in her 30s and divorced, she returned home to take care of her elderly parents. But by 1945, both her parents had died, leaving her alone in the house. Ostracized by the deeply Calvinistic town, she sought refuge in this home.
Her mother died in 1941 and her father in 1945. And after that, Helen was alone in the house. Then she decided that she wants to change her environment. And she started with a house. She got Jonas Adams first to help her. And she also had a white friend that helped her. That was her lover for 21 years. He helped her, and Jonas Adams, they did most of the work inside the house. After the inside of the house was finished, only then did she start on the outside. She also had Piet van der Merwe helping her. But most of these sculptures were then done by Koos Magas with Helen standing by and inspiring him and telling him what to do sometimes.
The artworks in this house have been called visionary. They've inspired songs, poems, other artworks, novels, and even plays, like Athol Fugard's The Road to Mecca, which is all about this house.
You see Helen's soul in the Owl House and in the yard. Helen could take a small picture card and she would create a wonderful sculpture from that. You see her soul, you see all kinds of religions here. You might even see a hidden message here. She's got the nativity scene. That is where the nativity scene is. The procession walks to the east. But in front, there's a prophet standing there, pointing to the leader who's looking for the east, for heaven, for enlightenment, for spiritual bliss. And it's as though he's saying, you're going in the wrong way. Go through me and you'll see where true east is. And he's pointing to our true east.
Most visitors may trek to this faraway town just to see these marvelous artworks. But if the house makes an impression on you, the town is sure to do the same.
I think the special thing about this town is it's like stepping back 20 or 30 years in time. It's like going back to when your grandparents were alive. The dirt roads, the no street lights, the water furrows running, the mix of agriculture in the village, and I guess the old, not well maintained houses, no Tuscan villas. So I think for a lot of people it's the owl house. They come to see the owl house and then they fall in love with the town.
Art continues to be a major part of this town. At the Bethesda Art Centre, where unemployed people are trained to create arts and craft for sale. There are also many artists who have made Nieu Bethesda their home. This town is really unique. It may be the only town in South Africa where you can have a donkey ride guided tour.
I do a guided donkey cart tour around here in the village. I take people from here, that's my start point from here. I tell them how to start the business, donkey cart business, and I tell them about the history of the village. Yeah, I like to introduce my donkeys as well. My two donkeys named, the one at my left side's name is Felice, and the one at my right side's name is Carolus. And also if they tired, I do changes. I had Philant and I had Blikkies also to give them a rest, and took fresh donkeys to do my tours. Yeah.
There are no tarred roads here, and it is a town off the beaten track, but the views of the night sky and the crisp, unpolluted air are worth the trip. But remember, this quaint town has no petrol, bank or credit card facilities, so fill up your tank and your wallet before you arrive.